Hi guys, Muds here. On this episode of Ball in Months, I'm just going to give a quick review of the AFCON final and also just the AFCON in general. Just before I get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you hit on the subscribe button. And if you have already subscribed, thank you very much. So let's just get started. So the AFCON final, it ended 0-0 at full time, and then after extra time, it ended 1-0 to Senegal. My pick before the AFCON was Senegal to win it. Like I said, I couldn't see any team beating Senegal in a 90-minute match. Maybe maybe in extra time, maybe in penalties, possibly. However, for me, Senegal are the best African team offensively and defensively, and they have a very, very good goalkeeper, and they have a very good bench as well. The squad for me is one of the best African team I've seen of all time in terms of the squad, the caliber of players, the star players, and the clubs that play for around Europe as well. So obviously in this final, I felt Senegal played a much better team in terms of chance created. Ndiaye missed a golden chance in the first half, and then the Moroccan striker El Kabi missed a golden chance in the second half as well. That's pretty much chances in the game, you know. Pretty much that was the chances in the game. However, before the full time whistle went, there was a goal disallowed for Senegal, which it shouldn't have been disallowed. It was very, very soft foul on Hakimi, which I thought the goal should have stood. And then a few seconds later, a penalty got given to Morocco. I could not believe it. For me, the standard of the refereeing in this AFCON was very, very poor. I'm going to get to that later on. However, when the penalty was given, Senegalese team, the coach, the manager, they brought in all the players, and then Mane they all talked to each other, and they brought the players back out. For me, they had to do that simply because it was an outrageous decision. All tournament long, I thought Morocco were getting on the favourite position. On the 50-50, Morocco were getting them. Eventually, obviously, Senegal won the game in extra time. I was so happy for Senegal. They deserved it. I think they saved African football in terms of the parity in African football, because Morocco, they were odds on to win this. They were supposed to win this. This was really the start for Morocco, but then Senegal threw a spanner in the work, and I'm so happy. I'm delighted Senegal won this. And in terms of the AFCON overall, I felt it was a very, very good tournament. The football that was played, one of the best. This is the best AFCON I've watched in terms of football. The style of football, the goals, the caliber of goals, the caliber of players, everything. And also shout out to Morocco. I know I'm very, very critical of Morocco, but shout out to Morocco in terms of facilities that are provided, the accommodation for players, for fans. Everything was top notch from Morocco, especially facilities for players and the pitch that was being played on. Because I've watched so many AFCONs where the stadium and the pitch weren't up to standards. But this AFCON, the pitch, the stadiums, everything were up to standard. Morocco deserved a very, 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 very well done, a very good well done for that, in my opinion. And also, I'm just going to talk about in terms of legacies for Mane. For me, after this AFCON and what has accomplished in no career, there's only probably maybe two players I put ahead of Mane in African football, and that's George Weah and Samuel Eto'o. Apart from that, I think Mane is neck and neck with being his top three African footballer of all time, in my opinion. Not just in terms of what they accomplished for the country in Africa, what like the tournaments they've won, the World Cup qualification, and also what they've accomplished across the waters as well in Europe when they're playing in Europe. So, for example, Mane has won everything: Premier League, Champions League, domestic cups. He's won everything. You name it, he's won everything. In my opinion, he won this German Cup, and then obviously for Senegal, he's won their only two AFCONs as well. So for me, that is legacy stamped. Mane's legacy stamped forever in terms of African football, in terms of football across the globe in the world. If I had to pick a player to represent Africa in terms of football and ability, I'm picking either Mane or Eto'o. For me, Mane and Eto'o are neck and neck, top three players of all time, African players in my opinion. There's no debate about it in my opinion. Absolutely no debate about it in my opinion. Obviously, you look at George Weah. He won the Ballon d'Or, the only African player to win Ballon d'Or. However, for his country, Liberia, they didn't do much. But to be fair, they didn't have the team to do much as well. But if you're talking about African players, what they achieved in Africa alone, I think for me, it's Eto'o and Mane, and then there's everybody else at the bottom. But if you're talking about the whole career, then you're looking at George Weah, Eto'o, and then Mane. Those are the top three for me, in my opinion. Those are the top three African players of all time, in my opinion. Hats off to Mane. Fantastic career. He said this is his last AFCON. he's left a brilliant legacy, in my opinion. Now it's up to the other Senegalese players, young players, to carry on his legacy. And also, I just want to make a quick thank you to everyone for since the AFCON has started. I've hit record high views on my YouTube channel. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I do appreciate everyone who's watched my AFCON videos, my AFCON reviews, my previews, my prediction. Honestly, I wish this tournament never ended, because I've got so much views, so much following on YouTube, simply for my review, my preview, my prediction for AFCON. And thank you very much for everyone supporting me so far. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. I can't wait for the next tournament. I think the next tournament is next summer, so I really, really look forward to it already. And also, just a quick mention to some of the really, really good play I've seen. One of the best matches I've seen in this AFCON was Egypt versus Ivory Coast, a 3-2 in the quarterfinal when Egypt knocked them out. Fantastic game. End-to-end game for the first maybe 50, 60 minutes. Then Ivory Coast absolutely battered Egypt then as well. Nigeria versus, I think it was Algeria. Nigeria completely, that was a one-sided game. Nigeria completely dominated them. For me, in this tournament, Nigeria played the best football. If I had to give my best 11 of this tournament, I'd probably go Edouard Mendy. No, I go Bono, the Moroccan keeper. I go Hakimi. I go Kevin Bassi. I'll go Agard from Morocco. Two centre halves. And left full, I'd probably go. I'll go with Mazraoui. Left full. And I'll probably play 4-3-3 formation. And the three in the middle of the park for me, I'll have Iwobi. I'll have Idrissa Gana Gueye and Iwobi holding. And then I'll have Lookman in front of them. And the front three for me is going to be Victor Osimhen, and have Mane on one side. And I'll probably, who's going to be on my right hand side? I'll have Mane on one side, Victor Osimhen, and then I'd have who would I put there? Brahim Diaz on the right hand side. So that's my starting 11. So my starting 11, my best 11 for this tournament would be Bono on goals, the two fullbacks Mazraoui and Hakimi, two centre half Kevin Bassi and Agard. Then the three midfielders, or whatever way you want to put them. I'd have Lookman in number 10. The two kind of holding players, I'd have Idrissa Gana Gueye, and I'd also have Iwobi in there. And then the three front players, I'd have Mane on the left, Victor Osimhen centre forward, and I have Brahim Diaz right wing as well. That's pretty much my team in the tournament. I appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure covering the AFCON. I can't wait for the next tournament. Peace out.